The thought of a commercial airline pilot starting up a trucking company in the last 5 years conjures up as many thoughts as there are seats in an Airbus A321 Neo or pallet spaces in an HPMV linehaul unit. As usual, the abyss between fact and fiction is always incomprehensibly large, and rarely can the imagination conjure up as good a story as reality itself. If the average person were asked to describe a commercial airline pilot, they probably wouldn't imagine a 6'6" rugby prop who tips the scales north of 110 kilos. Any which way you pitch it, Glen Stewart defies the stereotype in the best possible way. Born from solid farming stock in rural Matamata, Glen wasn't taken with the farm's core reason for being. Instead, he was far more interested in the machines and the trucks that serviced its needs, as well as the flying machines that circled overhead. I loved the machines and the trucks, and every weekend and holidays you'd find me in the trucks going for rides. We also had trucks in the wider family too. The substantial aerodrome on the outskirts of Waiharoa near Matamata also drew his attention. I figured that flying might lead to better money in my early years, but the truck thing was no less of a goal also for me. Glen's commercial flying career has been one of adventure and high achievement, from pastoral flying in the outback of Australia to regional passenger services flying in New Zealand, Australia, Papua New Guinea and Myanmar, all the way through to long-haul international work with Cathay Pacific. So now in 2023 and back at Air New Zealand, Glen is also pursuing his trucking goals, and that brings us to the latest addition to his Fenco fleet, number 5, a Scania 660S Highline A8x4 tracked unit, the first of that model cabin configuration recipe in the country. Named the rumble seat as a salute to the V8 cars of old, the truck's driver is Lloyd Rutherford, and a warmer soul you would not meet. We spent a couple of days tracking the truck with its slick Roadmaster 15.7 metre flat deck super quad. The truck is the second to be set up in this way. The trailer is equipped with large stanchions, deck pegs, head and tail boards, bearers, straps, chains, corner boards, covers and a pull-out light bar at the rear of the load for lengths up to 20 metres long. There's not much that can't be carted on this unit, and with the HPMV rating of 48 tonnes, it's good for a payload of around 28.5 tonnes. Talking with Glen, the preference for European gear has an interesting twist. As it turns out, the European versus US thing extends well beyond trucks, and similar variants, for all the same reasons, can be found at 38,000 feet. They're just quieter and smoother than their US counterparts. Likewise for the trucks, I suppose. After watching the 17 metre long wall panels being carefully put on the trailer by ace telehandler driver Johnny, we're soon away from the rainy cold morning in Christchurch, bound for a building site in sunny Nelson. Inside the cab, it's a delicious house to occupy, with all the right things in all the right places, and made of all the right material as well. The Fenco truck had the leatherette finish, a single bunk and cupboards in the back wall of the sleeper. With 2 metres and 70mm of headroom and that level of storage, it pretty much qualifies as a motorhome. The cockpit position, visibility and controls in the NTG Scania are so difficult to fault. Gently thumping away under the floorboards of the cab was the 16-litre V8 at 660 horsepower, giving a power-to-weight ratio at max GCM of 10.1 kilowatts per tonne. But on this trip, we were more around the 13.7 kilowatts per tonne with this load. We were the living embodiment of USA's famous commercial vehicle publication, Large Car. Brakes are all disc with ABS and EBS, and all the standard safety expectations are in place. Adaptive cruise, emergency stop, lane departure and hill hold. Being a Euro 6 8x4 tractor means chassis packaging is challenging, but it's all there and well laid out. The Lewis Pass and Shenandoah sections of State Highway 7 and 65 are dippy, windy, narrow, and the surface is stuffed. A postcard from the North Island, you might say. So we were glad of the full air suspension under the cabin chassis. But having said that, there was a little turbulence as you'd expect when you compare the Fenco 660S tracked unit with the Martinborough 770S rigid. No second steer kick so much, but the high cab on a short wheelbase, it certainly moves around a bit more, especially when there's a pair of 15.7 metre steel trailer chassis rails on a pin reminding you that they're there. Physics, in the end, is physics. The road improved somewhat north of Murchison, and what was rain, gloom and even a snow flurry here and there on the top of the Lewis Pass transitions into a glorious Tasman day north of the Hope Saddle. And with that, Lloyd rolls onto the building site in Stoke, and after hatching an unload plan with a friendly bloke from the Gibbons Naylor construction team, they asked where Lloyd intended to stay the night, and did he need a ride somewhere. Yeah, nah, I've got it all right here, thanks. was his reply. To catch the full story on the new Scania 660S for Christchurch-based Fenco, then grab a copy of the September 2023 issue of New Zealand Trucking Magazine, or visit us at nztrucking.co.nz to read a digital copy. See the links below. And remember, hit the like button and also subscribe for fresh content as it's uploaded. Have a great month out there and travel safe.